So, hello, everybody. Let's talk. 2020. Wow. Right? You know, fear has an overwhelming way of making you stop, making you freeze for seconds, for minutes, for hours, and you don't know what to do. That was me, April of 2020. As the masks went up on face after face in my neighborhood, at my Wawa, even along the walking trail of Cooper River, I couldn't help but feel that there was something insidious trying to choke the best in me, trying to choke my thoughts, my words, my breath, my voice, my impact. And I didn't know what to do. I would enter the critical care unit and I could see the fear in my peers' eyes. We didn't know what was coming or how to handle it. And most days we were silent on how to cope with what we were beginning to see in critical care. COVID. It was obtrusive and it was everywhere. It was everywhere. It stopped the world. It stopped your world. It stopped my world. And the experts with no knowledge, frozen, with a lack of direction, had no way to make it stop. So, shuddering at the thought that there were no answers, I often would run home, absolutely no traffic, right? I would jump into my bed, turn off the phone, and pull the comforter up over my head, just looking for a moment of warmth. And it was short lived. It was short lived. I was wondering, where would I find the answers? What would I tell my family? What would I tell my church members? Or what would I say to my girls, one in Philadelphia and one in Boston, as I quietly contemplated sending them an N95 in the mail? I needed something to click. I needed something to happen because we were frozen. And I didn't know how to recapture my voice, recapture my impact. I remember the calls. Wanda, will this sock work? Or Wanda, is hand washing really enough? Or better yet, hey, Wanda, you find any Lysol today? The people needed me. And I know that they needed you. I tried to figure out, what could I do? I had to shake myself and shift my gaze and take my eyes out of the headlights and kind of just get moving. What was I to say? How was I going to help the people get their power back? Then it clicked for me. I was going to use what I had been learning in my spare time. It was a hobby, it was a guilty pleasure as well, I guess. And I started to think about how I could help empower the people so that they could recapture their voice. They could enjoy what they value. They could talk, they could laugh, they could touch deeply, they could sing again. So, time to pick up the phone and fire up the laptop. I thought, hey, maybe we could talk about how to stay well mentally, immunity, how to create self care practices that built up our resilience. And I could share those things. And what happened was I started to see a doorway to help people who felt frozen, felt locked out, begin to embrace the fact that They had a voice and they had power. So, what did we do? I thought about using Zooms. I was using digital platforms, live streaming, webinars to begin to teach people how to gain their voice back. And I wanted to go beyond COVID care and quarantine. We did talk about how to properly use masks. We used webinars to teach our young people, this was a great one, on how to bling out their lashes, put on eyeshadow, and girl, don't worry about the lip gloss because that bedazzled face covering, it was going to wipe it all away. Before I knew it, people were lighting up and they were warming up to the fact that they were creative. I was watching seniors in my church learn how to create image quotes. I remember empowering a single mom who was a teacher on how to create digital products so that she could take her teaching beyond the four walls of a brick and mortar classroom and learn how to create more income for her family. And then guess what? It was Nana's time to finally solidify her selfie game. It was amazing. And we were moving. And so, with starting with something as simple as how to wear a mask, hand washing, what to do with your clothes, we started to grow beyond that. We started to make impact in the lives of the people in our church community. And people began to discover that they were not frozen, they were not confined, and they were greater than the darkness that COVID had plunged us all in. The French artist Henri Matisse says that creativity is another word for courage. And I firmly believe that whenever fear is present, we have an opportunity to step into our courage. Courage is the ability for us to move past our comfort zone. And boy, were we completely uncomfortable. This was all new, all unknown. But it's also the ability to transcend, ascend above our fears. So, I never thought that I would say this right now, but 2020, wow, right? Thank you. I want you tonight, as you watch our stories, to reflect on what you've learned this year. 2020, thank you. 2021, here we come.